how can high-performing individuals optimize their focus and productivity in today's fast-paced world?
Focus involves a few different factors to consider for a high performer to thrive. And when I reflect on this and think of all the incredible human beings that I've been so blessed to serve over the years, I've found that one thing that can really drive focus powerfully is a deep, insightful meaning. A dimu, a sense of dimu that rests behind why they're doing what they're doing. If a high performer or someone is required to focus on a task that has no connection to their highest values and it's actually connected with their lowest values, that will lead to procrastination, etc. So how do we optimize focus? We start to connect the actions and the projects with a deeper, meaningful element that person actually is passionate about, that actually inspires them. So when we look at how we can cultivate and create more focus, you could think about focus as bandwidth. So when you utilize the internet, there's a certain amount of bandwidth that's available, and the more bandwidth that there is, the faster and more effective the download speed is, the capacity for data to move through. It's the same with human beings. Mm-hmm. So to increase focus, we want to increase bandwidth. And how do we do that? Well, we want to reduce interference. Mm-hmm. Interference I've seen with high performers comes from the invisible thinking that they have inside that they're unaware of, such as this needs to be perfect, it needs to all be done now, I'm going to fail if I don't do it right. And this is like, imagine trying to chop up some vegetables whilst you've got loud heavy metal music going in your ears with drums banging, and you're like, try and chop up the vegetables. It's the same when we think about focus and productivity. Think about a surgeon. If a surgeon, they're doing very high performance based things. When they're in theatre, they have peaceful music on, they've got a lot of space, they're taking their time. It wouldn't be wise for a surgeon to be slapping themselves in the head repeatedly whilst they're trying to do surgery. Mm-hmm. But what happens with high performers is, with the use of their thinking and thought, they're kind of slapping themselves in the head on the inside. So this is where looking at the infinite realm of thinking that someone can be creating their world with, this is a game changer. So we've got the energy of thought, we've got their values, the things that inspire them, the things that energize them, to connect that with whatever they're focusing on. And then we come to the body, this exquisite vessel that is the instrument of our experience from moment to moment. And how we can support high performers for more focus and more productivity is, how do we optimize the system? How do we eliminate hidden stressors? So there's a multitude of hidden stresses that can get in the way of this optimal performance, this flow.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. Some of the stresses can involve hormones of the body. Like, how can we support hormonal balances between things such as cortisol and DHEA. Cortisol is actually a hormone that's involved when the body is in a state of breakdown, or the body is in a state of fear or threat. Whereas DHEA is more of a hormone that's representative of the body building up, repairing, being in an anabolic state. Mm-hmm. This is a state of safety, a state of creativity. So hormones is fundamental. Mm-hmm. The immune system is really important to consider. We see if the immune system is being stimulated in a high performer through food, through environmental toxins, etc., that can spark an immune response of inflammation. One of our favorite words I only said a couple thousand times in the past. So that can spark an immune system response, which is basically going to create a response of stress that gets in the way of the capacity to focus. Detoxification is fundamental. If a high performer is trying to utilize the vehicle that is their body, but their body's not detoxing effectively, that means there's going to be an overburden of toxicity, which will impede bandwidth for focus and flow. So there's a multitude of systems in the body that when I work with high performers, we look at how do we coach up the body's innate reserves, the innate abilities, and coach down stressors that are impeding focus and flow.